speaking of the NBA Finals, the President of the United States has just told the media he will not be inviting LeBron James, Steph Curry, the Warriors, the Cavs. Regardless of what happens in this NBA Finals, the President of the United States will not be inviting the victor of the NBA Finals to the White House. This happened moments before coming on air. Here is what the president said. Quote, "I didn't invite LeBron James, and I didn't invite Steph Curry. We're not going to invite either team." So the president is getting ready for the G7 summit out there in Canada. And on his way out to going abroad, he spoke to the media and basically mentioned this. It was actually interesting that he was actually asked about this, but I digress. He did mention about it, and obviously we could look back to the president denying the visit from the Philadelphia Eagles, the team that won the Super Bowl just last year, right? The whole ordeal that happened there, where I guess the Eagles wanted to reschedule, and then Trump said, well, no, I'm going to be abroad, and then the Eagles were like, all right, we'll send a small contingent of the players, and then Trump said, well, no, that's not happening, and then he ended up canceling the White House visit. I believe we do have the video. I have to confirm that with my folks behind the screen there. We will get you guys the video of the president actually saying this, but the breaking news is Donald Trump will not be inviting LeBron, will not be inviting Steph, the Warriors, the Cavs, nobody from the NBA Finals to the White House. Here is Donald Trump speaking to the media before heading to Canada.
I didn't invite him. No, I didn't invite LeBron James, and I didn't invite Steph Curry. We're not going to invite either team. But we have other teams that are coming. If you look, we had Alabama, national champion. We had Clemson, national champion. We had the New England Patriots. We have the Pittsburgh Penguins last year. I think we'll have the Caps. I mean, we'll see. You know my attitude? If they want to be here, it's the greatest place on earth. I'm here. If they don't want to be here, I don't want them.
You're not going to be seeing LeBron James or Steph Curry at the White House. And by the way, LeBron, of course, recently spoke to the media, I believe it was a couple of days ago before Game 3, where he said, I don't think we'd want to go to the White House anyway. So it's this back and forth here between the President of the United States and some of the marquee players in the NBA. So here is the news. There won't be the Cavs or the Golden State Warriors at the White House. Regardless of who wins the NBA Finals, they will not get an invitation. So, wow. That just came through the wires here. Be sure to let me know what you guys think about that in the comments section. And I do want to ask you guys this, by the way. If the President of the United States invited you to the White House, would you decline said invitation? All right, let me know what you think, and I'll be tracking what you guys say. I see Elder Philip Daly says no one wants to see him. So there you go. Mitchell Wren says, I would decline. I have a feeling you wouldn't, Mitchell. I'm pretty sure you would go, just for the Instagram picture. But let's go to all of the new NBA rumors out there, and we'll start things off with LeBron James and Paul George perhaps teaming up. Now, this is interesting. So LeBron and George may actually have a dialogue here where the two could be playing with the Los Angeles Lakers. Both are expected to opt out and become free agents this summer. Both have 1 year remaining in their respective contracts if they opt in. I don't really think they will. LeBron would make $30 million if he stayed with the Cavs. He ain't gonna. And then Paul George, of course, the story with him, traded from the Indiana Pacers to the Thunder last season. Thunder tried really hard to keep George in Oklahoma City, and they will try hard this coming season. So George grew up in LA, and there is very real reason to believe that Paul George will go to the Lakers. Now, whether or not LeBron James will go to the Lakers is a whole nother discussion, although LA is a favorite to land LeBron, and we'll get that latest odds list there for you guys as well. But should LeBron and Paul George team up with the Lakers? Be sure to let me know in the comments section. Here are the latest Vegas odds. So the Houston Rockets lead the way, actually, plus 150. The 76ers at plus 300. I have a feeling that number's going to fluctuate a little bit here with the whole Colangelo situation that went down. The Cavs are there, plus 350. Lakers, plus 400. Golden State Warriors, big long shots, but I've got a rumor about them coming up in a matter of moments here. Najim is saying LeBron and Paul George equal championship. I would agree with that, especially if they go to the Lakers. Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, LeBron James, Paul George. Are you kidding me? Lakers would be legit. I see Rick chiming in. What's up, Cam? Rick, thanks for watching, my man. Appreciate that. Hope you're enjoying your Friday, sir. So let me know about Paul George and LeBron, but the rumor is that maybe these two could be teaming up. I mentioned Colangelo. He is no longer the president, the GM of the 76ers. He mutually parted ways, and I'm doing air quotes right now. You can't see me, with the 76ers. And, of course, it's all over the scandal with his burner accounts, and on his burner accounts, he allegedly criticized 76ers players Joel Embiid, Markelle Fultz, former Sixers GM Sam Hinkie, and the investigation went on for about a week and a half or so and found his sharing to be, quote, careless and in some instances reckless. So he served as the president since 2016. In the meantime, 76ers coach Brett Brown will oversee basketball operations. Here's what Sixers managing partner John Harris said in a statement in regards to this resignation here from Colangelo. Quote, the 76ers organization has accepted the resignation of president of basketball operations Bryan Colangelo, effective immediately. We appreciate Bryan's many contributions during his time leading our basketball operations and thank him for the work he did in positioning the team for long-term success there. So, thanks but no thanks, Bryan. Good riddance is basically how I interpreted that statement. Now, Colangelo had his own statement here. Said he didn't resign, but mutually parted ways, like I mentioned. Quote, although I am not directly responsible for the actions, I regret this incident occurred and understand that it has become a distraction for the team. Therefore, the organization and I have mutually agreed to part ways. So he is denying involvement with these Twitter burner accounts. And you may recall a report from the USA Today that talked about how Bryan's wife, Barbara, was actually the one that was involved with these burner accounts and actually sending out these tweets. That is kind of falling in line with Colangelo's statement there saying, I wasn't involved, so if you weren't, then obviously your wife was, right? So, I don't know. We'll see what happens in regards to any more details surrounding that investigation. But Bryan Colangelo is now out. And you are watching the Cam Rogers Show, presented by Autolist. Head on to Autolist.com. Get that car shopping done in a flash. Surf the largest inventory of new and used cars on the web or download their top-rated mobile app for Android and iPhone today. All right, continuing on with the latest NBA news and rumors, the Pelicans have extended Alvin Gentry through the 2020-2021 season. The Pelicans, all things considered, exceeded expectations this season. They won 48 games, swept Portland in the first round of the playoffs, succeeded in developing that fast-paced offense there, and actually led the league in pace. So Anthony Davis, a big reason why, averaged 28 points per game, 53% shooting percentage as well. Gentry's going to have his work cut out for him a little bit here because you have DeMarcus Cousins coming back from an Achilles injury, and you look at this team, the Pelicans, they made noise in the playoffs without DeMarcus Cousins. So now DeMarcus joins the fray, you would think, healthy and 100%, then maybe the Pelicans can actually make even more noise in the following NBA postseason. It's something to keep in mind. I know we like to talk about the Sixers, the Celtics, and those teams in the Eastern Conference, but I think in the Pelicans realm of things and just in general, in the Western, Eastern, however you want to put it, throughout the regular season when they play in both conferences, they can make some noise. And perhaps once the postseason comes around, the Pelicans can actually really surf through. Like I mentioned, we like to talk about the Celtics, the 76ers, because they're fun to talk about in terms of rising teams in the postseason in general, Eastern or Western. And I think the Pelicans could be one of those teams to start talking about as well. All right, let's go back to LeBron here. He will reportedly meet with the Golden State Warriors about free agency. This coming from Stephen A. Smith. And so we could have the possibility of a LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, big three in Golden State. Now, LeBron shot down the potential to go to the Warriors back in February, saying he was focusing on developing the Cavs into, quote, a championship caliber team. Now, that was February. It is now June 8th, 2018. All right, so the new year just turned in February, not so much now, and maybe LeBron could be thinking otherwise at this juncture, down 0-3 against the Golden State Warriors. In March, the Warriors weren't among the short list where LeBron might go, according to Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer. That list included the Cavs, Lakers, Rockets, and Philadelphia 76ers. Now, again, March. So a couple months ago, that report, that list could be outdated. LeBron tomorrow could decide that, hey, maybe the Golden State Warriors are a team that I'm going to look into here. So only time will tell. The first step is LeBron's got to opt out of that contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers, which he will. There's no doubt about that. If there's anybody out there that actually thinks he will opt into this contract, I think you're insane. Now, there's still the possibility, mathematically speaking, that the Cavs can win the NBA Finals. But it's never been done before, down 0-3. Jonathan chiming in the comments section. If Bron goes to Golden State, that's the end of basketball, Jonathan. It's so funny you mentioned that. My producer, Lana Bond, was saying, I might just stop watching basketball if LeBron goes to Golden State, because what is the point of watching anymore, Jonathan? By the way, can we just, cancel the Eastern Conference then? Maybe the Western Conference is the NBA if LeBron goes to the Golden State Warriors. Honestly, that's where I think we were at if that actually goes down. And I showed the list of Vegas odds in terms of all the teams that LeBron could go to. And the Golden State Warriors have pretty long odds, plus 1,600. The Rockets lead the way. The 76ers are second. But with Colangelo now out and all the unsettledness, if you will, with that, maybe the 76ers have other things to focus on at this point. The Cavs are there. I don't think he goes back to the Cavs. The Lakers make some sense if he rejoins, or if he teams up, I should say, with Paul George, and they go out to LA and join Lonzo and join Brandon Ingram and get something going out west. Paul George goes back to a city he's really familiar with. LeBron obviously has business interests out there in LA. He has a couple of houses out there in Los Angeles as well. So we'll see what happens. Keep hitting me up in the comments section. You guys could be featured on the Cam Rogers Show here today. We do appreciate you guys weighing in. All right, how about Chris Paul? Speaking of the Rockets, will he be staying with them? So the Rockets are going to have to shell out some big money for this guy. He becomes a free agent this summer, played his final year after activating his player option following that trade involving the LA Clippers. Now, the Rockets signed the deal knowing they would have to re-sign him in free agency, and a steep price tag would go down. So my thought process is the Rockets know what they're doing here. The Rockets are going to figure out a way to get Chris Paul the money he wants. Now, here's what could be the wrench in all of the contract negotiations. What if LeBron wants to come to Houston? Then the Rockets, GM Daryl Morey, will have to be like, all right, so we got to accommodate LeBron now. Maybe Chris Paul is okay with taking a little less money than what he originally thought he would get, just so he can play ball with his dude, LeBron James. It's something to keep in mind, right? Because there are so many narratives to why LeBron would go to whatever team we're talking about. Lakers, maybe it's teaming up with Paul George. Maybe it's the business interests. Maybe it's the fact that LeBron has houses out there. Houston, maybe it's teaming up with Chris Paul. Maybe Chris Paul is okay with taking less money. 76ers, maybe LeBron can play off the ball. Maybe that's the report out there that, he actually is okay with letting Ben Simmons be the guy there in Philadelphia. And, of course, he has a rim protector in Joel Embiid, a rim protector that LeBron has never had. So it's narrative after narrative after narrative here. And for Chris Paul, maybe he could be a part of the LeBron James sweepstakes if he takes less money. We'll see what happens. All right, let's get to the next news/rumor out there. Deandre Ayton says he thinks he's going number 1 in the 2018 NBA draft. He was speaking to the media after a workout with the Phoenix Suns here, saying, quote, "I know I'm going number 1. And Phoenix GM Ryan McDonough said, quote, "He shot the NBA 3 pretty comfortably. We've been looking for a center to kind of anchor our team offensively and defensively. We think DeAndre has that kind of potential." I think he goes number 1 overall. I really do. This guy is absolutely unbelievable. And he's not the old-style center either, the ripping the boards and 10 points per game kind of thing. No, this guy's versatile. He scores. He's a gamer. He's tough. I think he goes number 1 overall. All right, let's go to the next headline here. James Harden voted MVP of his fellow peers. So he is a favorite to win the official NBA MVP. Pretty good season. 30 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, 8.8 assists per game in the regular season. Of course, Houston reached the Western Conference Finals before losing to Golden State in Game 7. Now, James Harden was also voted the NBPA MVP, if you will, by his peers back in 2015. So kind of a same deal there. Now, the debate goes on. LeBron, Harden, who wins the MVP? Let me know in comments. Let's get to the next headline here. The search continues for the new head coach for the Detroit Pistons. Dwayne Casey, the former head coach of the Toronto Raptors, is perceived to be the favorite. Now, he met with owner Tom Gores on Tuesday, and the Pistons were reportedly, quote, very impressed with Dwayne Casey. Now, Casey spent 7 seasons with Toronto, 320 to 238 record there, reached the playoffs 5 times in 5 seasons, 59-23 record this past season, but we all know what happened with the Raptors. They lost in the second round of the NBA postseason this past year. So, yeah, maybe Dwayne Casey just needs a change of scenery because he's got a good regular season record, but the playoffs, it's the crumbling that happens. And hey, shout out to the Washington Capitals, by the way. They got it done. Maybe the Raptors are next. All right, next headline here. DeAndre Jordan may want out of L.A. So reportedly has been focused on the possibility of returning to his hometown of Houston. This according to Rockets Wire. Jordan told multiple Rockets players his desire this past season, even talked to several Houston players after that infamous locker room altercation following a game last January between the Clippers and the Rockets. You guys may recall that one. Now, of course, this could be the end of the old Big Three for the Clippers. Chris Paul's no more. Blake Griffin is no more. He's on Detroit. Maybe DeAndre Jordan is now out too. Now who do you have with the LA Clippers? And oh, by the way, LeBron and Paul George could be going to the Lakers. And so the Lakers steal even more headlines, and the Clippers are just getting shoved and shoved down those power rankings there. So Jordan has a $24.1 million player option for the 2018-19 season, but is, quote, almost certain to decline, according to this report here. So 2-time all-defensive selection, 2-time rebounding champion. He had 15.2 rebounds per game this past season. So DeAndre Jordan balled out, ripping boards. We'll see if he gets out of LA and goes to Houston. Those are the latest NBA news items and rumors.